Welcome back to the iRun the City podcast. This is episode number 2, and today this is the "Why Did I Start Running" podcast. This is just a short story on why I even started to run, because, like I said in episode 1, when I talked about the 2019 Las Vegas Rock and Roll Marathon, I'm fairly new. I mean, 6-7 years ago, I started to run, so that's pretty new, and it was only 3 years ago, in 2016. It was 3 years ago in 2016 that I ran my first marathon. But again, 3 years before then, I began to run. So 6 years ago was when I started running, and it was August. It was August of 2013. It was August of 2013, and I got into, I don't know, I wasn't very physical. I mean, I wasn't very active. I wasn't very active at that time. I wasn't doing much exercising at that time. And I felt like, I wanted to be more in shape. I mean, I wasn't totally out of whack. It wasn't horrible, but I had gained some weight and just felt lazy, kind of. I personally felt lazy. Felt like I could be doing more. I mean, I don't know, just started to question a lot of things about how I was dealing with life at the time. So because I began to feel that way, I started to think, okay, what can I do? And I literally, this is almost exactly what I began to think, and how I, kind of was self-reflection. I started to self-reflect. So I'm in the mirror and I'm asking myself, just what are you gonna do? Like, you've gotten to this point where, I mean, at the time, I started to want more in life. It was a weird time. I started to want more out of life. Let me say that. I started to want more out of life. So I was looking for a direction to go in. Like, what direction are you going to go into? What are you going to do at this point with your life? How are you going to figure this thing out? So I feel like what I came up with was to go back to the very basics. I felt like I needed to go back to the very basics. So I said, okay, let's start with things that you can change right now. And one of those things was to get active and to change how my body looked. Now, again, I wasn't necessarily horrible, but just in the past, I have been a fit person. I had been a fit guy, a fit person. As a younger man, I had been very fit. Athletic, and over time, just I had gotten away from anything fitness. I had gotten away from anything fitness. So the first thing I would do is challenge myself fitness, like in terms of fitness. And I said, I am going to start walking. It wasn't a plan for me to start running. The plan was to start walking. And even back then, I feel like I figured out that I should make my fitness goals very doable. Like I could overachieve, because I didn't want to start and not complete the goal or the task. I mean, I felt like that would have been worse for my self-esteem or whatever. Like I felt like that wasn't a good idea, to start something and not finish it. So I said, you know what? We're going to walk 1 mile. We're going to walk 1 mile a day for 90 days. And then I'm looking at it like, this is not something that we're going to do just for 90 days. We're going to make this a part of my life. I'm going to make this a part of my life. So I'm going to start by doing this, not knowing where it would lead to, but I felt like that was a way for me to incorporate this as a part of my life by making it 90 days. I mean, that at the time, that seemed like a very long time to do something, to do anything, 90 days. But it also seemed like, I feel like it was necessary in order to make it a strong habit, to like make it really stick. I thought 90 was a good number. So I got that part, the physical. I got the physical. Then I went to my plate. Started thinking about what are you eating? How could you change? How could you make some changes there? At the time, I was already a vegetarian. I hadn't eaten meat in 2013 for a long time. But I was not necessarily the healthiest vegetarian, because at that time, basically all I didn't eat was meat. Everything else was on the table. Everything else was, I would eat, eggs, cheese, everything else. I just didn't eat meat. So I also decided that I would go back to just all plants. That's what I said. I'm just going to go back to just get really, really clean. I didn't know how long that would last, because I didn't feel like it was necessary, right? I didn't feel like it was necessary to be so radical, to be so extreme. I didn't think that was necessary, because I don't know. I didn't know much about a plant-based diet at the time. I didn't know anyone who was on a plant-based diet at the time. But I wanted to really, really see the effects of being very, very clean as far as my eating. I wanted to see, kind of like a cleanse. I was looking at it somewhat like a cleanse. Like, okay, let's do this in order to really clean your body out, and then we'll build your eating habits from there. We'll build your eating habits from there. So that was the second thing that I put into, there was another change that I was going to make. That was something that I didn't know it would become a part of my lifestyle in its entirety. I figured I could kind of mix it up, do some different things with it, and maybe